What is going on? Happy Monday. Nice little Monday surprise here for me. We got this 4-lower house foundation to do way in the back there, and she's tight in the back lane. So what we're gonna do here is power lines, top wire 12.5 kV, 10-foot distance, 1, 2, 3 wires below there, 220 volt, 1 meter distance, 3 feet. Bottom wire, cable telephone service, don't touch it. And the wires running to the house here, those are also cable telephone. So fortunately I got my boom here folded up as such that it's coming off of the passenger side, and even if it weren't, I got a little trick for getting around that, but we won't get into that unless we have to. Yeah, super tight here. Move some fence, pull right up as far as I could. Actually could pop one more panel out and nose into the neighbor's yard there if I really wanted to, but I don't think we need to do that. Got my dunnage ready to rock here because this ground is absolute shit, to put it bluntly. Just a bunch of mud and crap here. So we'll throw down a whole bunch of pads, level this out, maybe use some of that gravel so my pads don't stick to the mud, and we be booming. Yeah, as you can see here, super tight for getting my leg past this temporary post here as well, temporary service support pole, if you will. Anyhow, we'll get out of here. Maybe I'll just set the camera down and film the setup. I'll just pull ahead a foot. Yep. Just a little tight. We pulled a little ahead a little bit here just so we can get past this post. Alright, now that we got her by, I'm going to back up about 2 feet here. Reason being, I want to get centered up here so I can build a nice big dunnage pad right in the middle. Otherwise I got this bloody rock in the way. So we'll roll back a little bit here and then we'll get our dunnage all set. But I don't want to roll back so far as such that now I can't clear that post there, right? So Alright, this one's looking good. The one I'm most concerned about that's going to see the burn to the weight is this front one here. So I'm going to prep this ground, get it nice and level, move some of this gravel around, and then we're going to put down some big dunnage on this one. So what I'm going to do here, because this ground is really stiff, almost like clay, I get a bit of a grade this way. I'm going to put this wood down to front load this side of it, run my Dyka pads the other way. Then as it gets loaded up and these pads squish down, the Dyka pads will end up being level with that material back there. Especially with the swivel foot, I don't like sitting on the dunnage like this. I want to be nice and flat. So let's see what happens once we build this up, load this up, squash her down, see how she looks. I'll do 4 more. Beautiful. And that is about exactly what we want here. With those 3 pads like that, that drops our ground pressure down to something like I'm gonna say off the top of my head about 14-15 psi. Like I said, the older pumps that had the fixed outrigger feet, they would almost kind of self-level the pads for you. With the swiveling feet, you don't have the benefit of that effect. So it's really important to set your stuff up, anticipate how it's going to compress, so that you're nice and level by the time you got load on it. So beautiful. I'll carry on here with the other side. There's not a whole lot going on there. Our non-working side, I'll just throw the square pads down, and then maybe we'll check back in when we unfold this girl. Like that, we're set. I always finish up by tightening up the outriggers on the working side just a smidge, almost just double checking them more than anything to make sure they all got tension on them. I always look at the outrigger box, make sure the leg is pinned up right into the box. You can tell right now I think this one's got a little slop right up in that area there. Let's see. So I'd rather take care of that slop now than have the pump stretched out, tightens up from the low to the boom, and then we pick up the opposing side outrigger. Not that it's dangerous, it's just not good in terms of stability. So you want tension on all 4 legs before you swing the boom out of the cradle. Minimize the chance of having to reset things once you got your boom stretched out. So here's the fun part now. So remember, communications wires, no touch. Communications wires, no touch. To get within 1 meter of that 220 supply wire, I would probably have to do something really stupid and blast through the communications wire first. And sort of the same story with the top wire there, the bad boys. But this is kind of like your Vancouver back lane special. I'm going to say that 75% of our foundations pumped from the back lane, we're dealing with this. So that's where this boom comes in so handy. Now let's just hope to heck that the boom actually is coming off of the the passenger side like I thought. If not, we might have to do a little trick here. Let's just see what we got. Camera and mouth time. Oh, we're in business. Good, good, good. Okay. Should be easy. Yeah, I know it looks sketchy probably from the camera angle, but if you look from here, I'm still 5 feet away from those 3-foot 220 volt supply wires. Now I'm going to swing out and we're golden. All while keeping within our limits of approach as written by our local safety authority, our equivalent of OSHA. But yeah, that's why I love this 38.5 section. You got the 5 shorter sections. Something like a 40 meter, like our old 40 meter Z. The boom is so long when it's folded up. I would have had to find a way to pull the pump in here about 6 feet further in order to get by that that temporary power supply pole. So maybe what I'll do in a future video, I will show there is a way to get up on the deck here, and this pump has external limit switches. The newer model 38 meter, they revised them around 2019. They changed the pedestal again. They might not use the same setup, but just by utilizing these limit switches here, I can actually override the limiting device. And there's enough slack in that turret there and those hydraulic lines, I can actually go an extra 180 right off the cab. Don't ask me how I know. You can actually go all the way around to the opposing side outrigger. Not ideal, don't want to do that. Not a great thing to get in the habit of doing, because if you ever forgot to reset those switches when you bring the boom back around, next guy takes the pump out, you're gonna rip the hydraulic lines right out of the turret. So how I found out the hard way what the limits are on this, loading and unloading hoses, one of the switches got knocked with the end of a hose, went to the next job, guy running it didn't know any better, spun the boom around, luckily happened to climb up and have a look, and those lines were tight right about in line with that front outrigger. But like I said, all machines are different. Our lines might be longer or shorter than some other machines out there, so I can't endorse doing this, but check your machine out, know your machine. It may be a possibility. That's between you and your pump, but it is a possibility on this pump. So, and I have had to do it a couple times. Off the record, on the record. Anyhow, I'm gonna get it folded here. We'll get the 3-inch whip hose thrown on. We'll get stretched out and check back in. Can I mention one more time just how awesome the 5-section RZ boom is? My favorite pump of all time that I've ever run. I think a 31XT telescoping swing, if I ever got the chance to run one, would probably rival this thing. But aside from that, nothing can touch this, in my opinion. Except maybe the new LeBaire with the 36 5-section RZ with the XXT outriggers. Except maybe that. Very similar boom, but with the flexibility of the slewing front outriggers. That one too. I'd mentioned this one in a previous video, but can't touch on it enough times. The proper way to do a safety sling, in my opinion, try and do this with one hand here. I always choke it and then feed it through the loop. Double up. I hate not going through the loop because some of these slings sit so loosely. If you ever were to have something detach and it's not choked tightly around this or through the loop there. Who knows, right? It's easy enough to do, but I always do it that way anytime I can. On this one, what I'll do is I'll choke this guy over top of that one. Kind of interlock them like so. So everything is double safetied for double awesomeness. Another thing while we're here I should mention, these conventional safety pins, I absolutely detest them. Especially some of the newer clamps. They use a smaller hole. As the clamps wear, get a little bit sloppy, the holes never line up to try and get the pin through. Absolute pain in the ass unless you hammer the ends flat, right? Junk. These are the ones. I love these things. Piece of cake. Easy peasy, right? I'll try and find a link of where we get these things. I'll try and post it down below, or even a photo. But yeah, I love these pins. These are good for the 3-inch and smaller, 4-inch and bigger clamps. We use the larger size. And they're not going anywhere. The other nice thing is they're big enough. It's tougher to lose them. I'm sure guys will still find a way, but yeah, you got to be nearly blind to lose these things. So highly recommend using these pins versus this conventional style, which we've fought with for years. Another handy thing I like to do, I keep an extra pin hanging off my reducer. That way if you have to bust the hose apart on site, and for whatever reason the pin gets dropped in the slab or something, we got an extra in handy, ready to go. And we'll activate our air cuff from the remote control, which I apologize is a little bit dirty. There are some benefits to these fancy new LCD screen remotes. Boom, just like that. Air cuff on. So anyhow, it's waiting on concrete now. Just circling back to the safe working distance around the wires and whatnot. I know in a lot of areas, I think all throughout the US, it's 20 feet. That's the rule, 20 feet, no ifs, ands, or buts. Our rules up here are a little bit more specific. They are thoroughly documented. So you can see here that high voltage wire, which is a 12.5 kV, 10-foot minimum working distance. I'm at least 15 feet away from that right now. And bottom one's there, 3-footers once again. Or so the middle ones, I should say, the middle 3, bottom 1 communications. So we are nowhere near infringing on our written regulation here. So all I can say about this is know the regulations in your area. Don't listen to anybody else. Don't go off what I'm saying. Definitely don't go off what I'm saying. Know what is specific to your area. Should be one of the first things you know before you go out pumping. So anyhow, let's wait for concrete to show up here. One more thing while we're waiting around. There's a lot of guys, they live by, put the outrigger dunnage down, stretch out, bounce the boom around, see what the dunnage does. That's good. What I also like to do, making sure my back outriggers are firmly planted as well. The boom out of the cradle here, let's just crank on this and see what it does, see if it moves at all. So we did get a little bit of settling there, which is good. So nothing too crazy, but that is a good method as well. Load up that outrigger and just see if it moves anywhere. Like I said, you can also stretch out and bounce the boom as well. To me, this is the safer way. And just because why not, now we got her stretched out. We'll give her a couple good little bounces here. Get that boom moving around a bit. While we do that, how's our dunnage look? That is going nowhere. So fully confident that everybody at the end of that hose is safe. That's what it's all about. Anybody who follows the channel here, yeah, you know what's coming up. Stay tuned. Because we don't like to have to chip out underneath our back bearing at the end of the day. So this is what we do. Preventative measures. Preventative measures 101. Here we go. Just a little bit of dirt. Oh, we like that. There we go. Because I'd rather have dirt under my S-tube at day's end than semi-hardened concrete. So, and a little bit of enviro-friendly canola oil here, just to make for an easy wash out at day's end. We can't use diesel and hydraulic around here because, God forbid, if we got so much as a drop of it in the back alley, they'd probably send the cops. And I'm not even joking. That's how strict they are about this stuff around here. So let's give her a good soak with the canola. I also like the canola because it doesn't break down the rubber. Things like your agitator seals, the rubber apron around the hopper, this stuff won't break it down like petroleum-based products will. So give her a soak and wait for mud to get here. While we're waiting around, you'll see my nozzle. Maybe you can see it. Little tiny pinhole. Her day has come. Love, love, love these nozzles. These are the Gilmore brand. I think they sell them under a couple other different names too. I find the plastic nozzles, the handle wears out right at that pivot point there. It gets too soft, and then it doesn't actually pull back on the plunger. So these metal ones are way better. The ultimate, and I built one of these before when I had way too much time on my hands. The one that's got the red plastic covering on it, they call it their industrial grade nozzle. So the handle is still plastic, which sucks, but the innards, rather than using this nylon, it's all brass. So you take the brass guts out of the red handle and install them into the metal handle unit. The only thing I find is that typically the metal body, like that, corrodes through and they pinhole well before the nylon innards ever fail anyways. So it was kind of all for naught. But anyhow, in my opinion, best nozzle out there. If anybody else has used anything that they really like or figure is even better than these, please comment below. But we've been using these for about 15 years now. Tried a bunch of other stuff. We always kind of circle back to these, and they're cheap. Pre-COVID they were like $3. Now they're like $8 or something, but just kind of like everythting else. So swap this out while we're waiting around here. The other accessory that's also totally awesome and pairs nicely with a brand new hose nozzle is these quick connects. I got these from Amazon, 6 of them for like 18 bucks, I think, and they actually last years. I've gotten like 3 years out of one of these. That wasn't the most linear demo, was it? Anyhow, yeah, it's great for washing out. You try to get in the S-tube. The hose itself, it just swivels rather than wrestling the whole actual body of the hose itself. The nozzle will swivel independently. It is really handy. It's all about the little things, right? While we're waiting around here, let's do a quick little exercise and calculate out what our ground pressure exerted by our dunnage pad actually is. Outrigger weight, 43,388 pounds. We'll round that up to 43,500. Dunnage pads, each one of these is 18 inches wide by 48 inches long. So we have 1, 2, 3 of these on the bottom, 54 inches wide, 48 inches long. So 54 times 48 equals 2,592 square inches of dunnage pad area. Outrigger load, 43,500 pounds, divided by 2,592 square inches of dunnage pad area, brings us to 16.7 psi of ground pressure, which is quite remarkable when you think that using just the square pad puts us at 78 psi, using just the 2 Dyka pads puts us at 24 psi, but running 3 on the bottom brings us down to 16.7. Huge reduction in the force exerted to the load-bearing ground for which we are set up on. Anyhow, good stuff to know. How did I rattle the numbers off so quickly with regards to the 24x24 pad and just the 2 Dykas? Because I'm a huge pump nerd and this is the kind of stuff I remember. Good things to remember though. It's actually, it does get easier the more often you use this stuff, and we kind of pack the same inventory on the pumps. So I know offhand what 3 pads gets me, 2 pads gets me, just the square pad gets me. It just becomes kind of a second nature thing, which is a very, very good thing when you're out pumping concrete every day of the week. So anyhow, easy equation. Outrigger load divided by the total area of your base tonnage pad, and that will give you your PSI exerted to your load-bearing ground. You know what that sound is? Concrete. Just gotta sneak in past the old mattress and box spring here. Lots of room. We'll get them on here and get lubed up for prime out time. We had to wait quite a while, so I'm gonna add a bit more water to this before we get going. Alright, here we go. Slump is just about ready. A few strokes forward. Spray it on up in the barrel. Perfect. Alright, let's do it. And I'll prime through at about a 3 on the AM dial. You know me, I'm a wussy, sissy pants slow primer. Just coming into the second section right about now. Should hear it falling into that that section 3-4 elbow junction pretty quick here. Pretty darn quick. I think she sounds a little dry today. I don't like that. I like to hear a little more distinct sound of the stones dropping into those elbows, but we'll get it. It's going to be a little dry here. There's some water. And some concrete. Just like that, we are primed through. Perfect. The concrete is going in the hole successfully. We're doing it. It's happening. Amazing. Nice booty shake. I bet you he can't do that.
I'm not even gonna try. You will once the camera's on. Whoa. Not too much weight in one spot. You're on the bridge, you're okay.
That's it. One truck down. So what I always like to do with the RZ boom, I'll set it so that I can do as much as possible with sections 4 and 5. Because I can be a lot more precise moving just those two when we're stretched out. Swing the hose over here for Jair and plant it in the wall while we wait. I think he knows we're empty. Maybe he doesn't know we're empty. I don't think he knows we're empty. Hey, buddy! That's it. Empty. And I'll leave that little crook, if you want to call it that, between my first and second section. And when I get those 4 and 5 all the way back to that third knuckle, I'll just work the main section in the third, bring that third in to get the hose to here. I just find it's a lot more smooth and precise that way, rather than trying to rely on moving your big sections around, or God forbid running it like a roll and fold, which this boom really, it'll do it, but it's definitely not a tappy place. So yeah, as goofy as the boom position may look, I find it to be quite effective, for me anyhow. I like it. We'll snug this up here just the slightest little bit. Something like About like that. Just to keep her nice and stable. Not really going to notice much pouring a foundation like this at residential pumping speeds. But if we were hammering down doing commercial, it does make a noticeable difference. So it's all about the little things. Next truck's here. All right, just waiting around on our third load. He's just around the corner here, third load of concrete. I'm sitting here looking at this thinking to myself, you know what? This is almost the perfect situation for me to experiment with my, I was gonna say very first, but it wouldn't be my first, my second time ever attempting a water wash. The first one didn't go so well, as I've mentioned in previous videos. But yeah, I get a nice A-frame going, pump it down right into the base of the hole there, suck all that water back, spick and span pipes, right? Maybe. If it weren't so late in the day already, I would give it a try, but I don't feel like dealing with any potential repercussions of a failed water wash at 10 p.m. tonight. Just, yeah, I'd rather not. But I am going to attempt my own water wash in an upcoming video. And what I'm going to do once I've completed the water wash, I'm going to throw the camera on the sponge. Thought I might have the sponge in there today, I don't. And we'll suck that back with the camera facing the other direction this time, because the pipe should be clean in theory. And we'll do a little pipe inspection by pulling the GoPro back to the pipes after we do the water wash, assuming that they're not full of segregated sand and gravel. But we don't talk like that. Let's think positive. Anyhow, that will be an upcoming video. And speaking of upcoming videos, last week I had a phone call pop up Thursday afternoon, I think, from Texas. I'm thinking it's got to be a telemarketer or something. Who's calling me from Texas? So I grabbed the call. None other than Jeff Tucker, Mr. Muddy Feet himself. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit starstruck. I'm a bit of a fanboy of Jeff's. He's sort of my YouTube mentor and the reason why I started doing this myself here. But we had a good chat, and we were kind of going back and forth, mentioning about maybe a collaboration sometime in the future. Either him coming up here or me going down there, or even both. But let me know in the comments what you guys, if this did happen, what kind of stuff you guys would like to see. I'm thinking if we go down to Texas, it's got to be a 300+ foot line job. Maybe on that Hell's Hill site that he's posted a few times. And if he comes up here, he was talking about wanting to see some high-rise stuff. So I think that'd be a heck of a video. What I'd really like to do is get him out on a 300 foot line job with a whole bunch of 2-inch hose, just to just so he can see it with his own eyes, because I know he's used to using the big 3-inch hose, lugging that around with those rocky mixes. But I don't think I think he'd be pretty interested to see how we do it up here with our creamy, buttery, spoiled brat type mixes that we have. But anyhow, yeah, like I said, mention below. A, do you think it's a good idea? B, if it were to happen, what kind of stuff would you want to see? So anyhow, next truck is here. Better get back to it. All right, here we are, final pass on the walls here, last load of concrete. Should have this all banged in about another 10 minutes here. And the weather has most definitely turned. It is absolutely disgusting out. Anyhow, pump this out. Maybe check back in when we're sucking the sponge back. Maybe spend some time together listening to that sweet sound of the ocean. Check back in at said time. Okay, well now we're actually questioning as to whether we're gonna have enough concrete. This truck's got a pretty good rattle going, and the stuff's wet, which means he's down to next to nothing. And we need about 1 cubic meter to finish this out. I'm all A-framed up, ready to blow every last drop I can out of this boom. And this guy runs out. Let's see if we make it. Just gotta get to the corner right here where I'm standing. I think we're in good shape. But there ain't gonna be a lot to spare. Yeah, he's down to just a few kernels in that drum. Got any leftovers and they want a set of stairs? Cut them off. Hopper full, do the stairs. We're good. Like that, one foundation complete.
Well, you have the best pump operator and the best hose guy.
Yeah, best pump operator, best hose guy, you're right. Nailed it.
Yeah.
Best way to clean the whip hose and tapers. Mother Nature is your friend. Full volume reverse for 3 strokes. And let it fall back down. Full volume reverse for 3 strokes. And let it fall back down. Move over to a clean puddle for another 3 strokes. Full volume reverse. And let it fall back down. And let's do one more because we're water rich here. 3 strokes, full volume reverse. And let it fall back down. What does it look like? It looks pretty damn clean to me. Here we go, the grand finale to a day's pumping, the moment you've all been waiting for. The ever so satisfying sucking of the sponge. I was a naughty little boy today. I only sucked back 1 sponge. The reason being, this is just a low strength residential foundation mix. Just flood the boom out with water and 1 sponge. And yes, I've mentioned previously not flooding the boom out with water, but because of my favorable A-frame boom position here, I'm not concerned about segregation. So I don't always do it the textbook way. Sometimes I go for efficiency too. Today is one of those times. Anyhow, thanks again for watching and joining us on today's concrete pumping adventure. Like, share, subscribe, times 3. Over and out, till next time.